It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome another superstar from the pro wrestling ranks. He began his career on the independent circuit before he held stints with the WWE and ECW. He currently wrestles for All Elite Wrestling, where he continues to make an impact.
Spears took advantage of it. Watch what happens. Boom! Boom! Right there.
The C4. That's his move.
You don't get up from the C4. Oh, wait! What is this? This is kind of a modified sharpshooter. A homage to another great Canadian, Bret Hart.
Absolutely. And he taps out. That's it.
Enough. He's done. He's done.
Here's your winner by submission, Shawn Spears.
Boy, Shawn Spears is on a roll.
And Spears joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. I'm, of course, your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Super excited to get in today's show. Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope your week is going well. I know we're all preparing for our special Labor Day weekend, so I thought none other than to bring you all a superstar into today's show, a man who has definitely made his name in wrestling. He is none other than Shawn Spears, an all-elite wrestling star. Of course, you all know him. Of course, on Twitter, you guys know him as Perfect 10. So many amazing things that he's doing, and he's going to join me live to talk the latest and greatest in the world of wrestling, sports, and so much more. So excited to get into it. Please comment your thoughts and your questions. We'll answer them live. And so without further ado, I will welcome Shawn to the show. Shawn, how are you today?
Hello, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for joining me. How are you feeling? How are you doing? What's the latest with you?
I am feeling fantastic. I was just enjoying the nice little introduction package on me at the beginning of the show, but your introductory package was much better.
Thank you so much. My team will appreciate that. We appreciate getting that from you, Shawn. Shawn, we had to do you justice, basically.
Great team behind you. I think you'd do okay in the wrestling world.
Hey, look, don't get me started, because look, I'm always looking for new opportunities. So you might have just dropped a plug or a bomb, but Shawn, I love it. I'm so excited to have you. Of course, there's lots been going on in the wrestling world. I do like to check in on my guests, of course. With COVID-19 happening, have you been okay? Is your family okay? It's not affected you, right?
I think it's affected everybody, just kind of globally, just because it's something that is just we weren't ready for, obviously, and we're still trying to come to terms with it even to this day. A lot of people are affected by it. Luckily, my family hasn't really been touched by it. I'm assuming, like everybody else, we're doing our very best to kind of stay indoors and not really go out if it's absolutely necessary. Luckily, I've been very blessed and thankful that we've been able to dodge things so far. But sadly, it's a trying time for everybody.
Yeah, we're just trying to get through it together. Hopefully there's an end in sight. I all know we just want normalcy back. And even who knows what normal will be after COVID-19. But hopefully sooner than later, we'll be able to go outside, breathe fresh air, and just not get sick. And of course, we just don't want anybody else, passing away from this horrible disease. So hopefully there's an end in sight.
Brand new appreciation for a new way of life, I think, once everything kind of clears out.
I completely agree. And then outside of COVID-19, Shawn, of course, there's been a lot happening just in the world, especially here in America. We know there's been so much. We see what's been happening in sports, of course. Sports are back, but of course, we saw kind of the stoppage of sports, Shawn, after the shooting of Jacob Blake. And of course, we kind of saw this kind of new wave of activism after the killing of George Floyd. So just wondering, in terms of your eyes, do you think as a country that we're hopefully moving in the right direction to get stronger together as many people fight for social justice?
Well, I think you said it right there. It's about getting stronger together.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful messages have been sent, and they've actually been backed, and everybody seems to be coming together and doing their part in order to bring very powerful messages to the forefront of society. And I think now, especially during these times, that is more paramount than ever. So the fact that I see people from all around the world coming together to support causes is an incredible and beautiful thing.
I love that. Like you said, it's coming together. We're stronger together. And hopefully, people just want to be treated right. We want to get back to, playing sports and people just playing outside, get our kids back to school. So hopefully we all get stronger. And of course, just be treated fairly. I think that's all people are asking. So I appreciate you touching on that, Shawn. Truly, truly, truly. And then getting into it, of course, you have a lot going on, but I want to start, Shawn, AEW Dynamite, of course, which airs on TNT every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, has truly become a force, I'd say, within the industry since its well-documented debut back in October, of 2019. Can you talk about just All Elite Wrestling being the current talk of the professional wrestling business, and also how AEW has become just the refreshing new face, I'll say, in the industry?
So refreshing.
Yeah.
You're nailing these key words. I love it. Me.
We're here.
We're on the same here. No, you said the word refreshing. And you're right. We kind of turned the wrestling world upside down. And that was AEW's goal from the very beginning. That was the goal of Tony Khan. And everybody that he has brought on board in his company all believes in the same thing. So it's crazy to think that a year has flown by. Like that, and it feels like we are just getting started, and that's the exciting thing with AEW. Obviously, with Dynamite every Wednesday night, we're killing it. We got All Out pay-per-view on Saturday this week, and it's going to be a hell of a show. We just keep trying to outdo ourselves, and we're not going to stop trying to impress our audience. That's our goal, is to impress our fan base.
Yeah, and you touched on Saturday. We're all counting down, Shawn. I know you probably can't give us any insight, but any juicy things you can drop on the show that we can look forward to?
Come on. I can't give you all the good stuff, but I will say that based off of last year, we aired part 1 and part 2 of All Out from 2019. Incredible shows, big shoes to fill. So we are very well aware that those are big shoes to fill, and there are things in place to make sure that those shoes are filled. So without giving you too much, check it out.
Yeah, we definitely will. We plan to. All of us plan to. We're super excited for it. We know a lot would just be happening with it. So Saturday, you guys get a special Labor Day treat with that. We're looking forward to, of course, seeing Shawn. And you touched on Tony Khan earlier, of course, the CEO and president, co-owner and founder of AEW. He has just been highly instrumental with a vision of both just sustaining and growing All Elite Wrestling, both in the United States and I'd say overseas. So can you just touch on Mr. Khan and how strong just his business acumen has helped lead the way for the company specifically as we look at growth?
I am convinced that man is a cyborg. Machine, man. I don't know how he does it. Balancing, you touched on his business acumen. You touched about his different businesses with the NFL and with Fulham. Like he's just so busy across the board, but he is so hands-on, and that's what I think I appreciate the most. Anytime I have sent him a text message, he's gotten right back to me. Every time I say, "Hey, Bob, have a few minutes," he's like, "Yeah, let's go to my office." He's very hands-on, and his attention to detail. He's more knowledgeable about wrestling than I am, and I've been in it for almost 19 years.
Wow.
He has the mind that he remembers everything. And I think the basis of all that is that he is a fan.
Yeah.
Like all the rest of us. That's the reason I got into it. That's the reason he is now into it. He's just an overall fan, and he just loves this industry more than anything. That in itself is inspiring to everybody else that works for him. So I said it. Tony has done things behind the scenes for me that mean the world to me and that I greatly appreciate. So he's got my vote and my support for as long as he wants it.
I love that. Tony, I hope you're listening. Look, you've got a true fan in Shawn. And Shawn, just going off of that, I love how you touched on how you got into wrestling as a fan. So for those that don't know your story, can you kind of touch on and dive into that, how you specifically got into wrestling? And I mean, are you living just your wildest dreams now as a wrestler?
Wildest is, probably the way to put it. I mean, you always hear me, I don't want to be, derogatory, but it's a cliche answer. I've loved this since I was a kid. I've always wanted to do this since I was a little boy, but that is the truth. I've always wanted to do it since I was a kid. I gravitated towards it. It always seemed that when I tried to go a different path in life, doors would shut, and I didn't know why at the time. It just kind of led me here.
Right.
And fortunately, between meeting the right people, doing things the right way, staying professional, and being an overall good person in life, good things can happen if you put in the work. It's just about putting your nose to the ground and grinding for however long it takes. But at the end of the day, I've been very fortunate from a kid from Canada coming from a town of 130,000 people to get to where now. It's been, sometimes I get a little too ahead of myself and I don't take the time to really sit down and appreciate where I've come from. But this is one of those moments that you bringing it up, I really appreciate, and it's pretty cool overall. It really
I love you touching on that. And like you said, coming from a small town, I'm sure when you come back, Shawn, you're probably the biggest thing there. What's it feel like for you getting to represent your hometown and kind of put them on the map?
I don't know if I put them on a map, but
I was giving you more accolades, Shawn.
I'd like to hope that I've done my fair share of making some people from the Tiger area very proud. But when I go home, nothing changes. That's the beautiful thing is I get to see my family, and then me and my friends that I went to high school with. We all go to the same pub that we used to go and party at, and we get together and we reminisce and what's going on now. It's just it's wonderful. And if I get to perform near St. Catharines, whether it be in Niagara Falls or Toronto, the overwhelming support of that Canadian crew is just, I get goosebumps right now because I'm thinking about it. It's none, and it's those memories I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. So Canada,
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that. And what about, are you a fan of the Raptors, Shawn, while we're talking about Canada?
So, yes, I'm so happy that sports are back, but I have pretty hectic, busy. I haven't really got down to sit down and watch sports. But I am a fan of the Raptors. I did pay attention when they had the big championship run. I don't think I'm as big a fan of them as Drake is.
Who is the biggest fan of them as Drake is? Come on.
But yes, when the Raptors came through, that was massive for that city and for the country.
Yeah, just exciting times. And Shawn, we're going to take a question from a fan. You have a lot of them, as I'm sure you know. But while we're talking about your background, who did you watch as a kid? And did you model your skill set after that person?
Oh, great question. So as a child growing up in wrestling, I always gravitated towards the what is known as the heels, the bad guys in professional wrestling. Only because they now that I'm in it and I'm aware of it, we have the ability now to be larger than life. We can go over the top. So the guys like Ravishing Rick Rude, Rick Martel, Mr. Perfect, those guys I thought were incredible talents. And now that I'm in it and have been in it for a great deal of time, I can come to appreciate their talents even more so. And then again, being from Canada, I gotta love Bret Hart.
Of course, it's only right.
But a lot of those guys, I really kind of like to model my in-ring ability and in-ring work now after those guys. So legends, absolute legends. Great. Thank you for that.
Thank you for answering that. And again, you just named some huge stars, just legends in the wrestling game. And just going off of that, Shawn, with regards to your tenure with WWE compared to your current run with AEW, can you just talk about some of the differences between the companies, particularly when it comes to, let's say, overall culture, both on and off camera?
So the biggest difference for me is schedule. That's the one thing. Schedule. So my body has had time to heal up and things like that,
which is great.
Wonderful. And the transition to being able to kind of peel back layers, my personality, that has been fully on me to do so, which has been kind of challenging, exciting, and unique all at the same time. So I've kind of done like a bunch of different things in my 1 year at AEW that I might not have had the luxury to do a couple of years ago anywhere else.
Right.
So getting the fun to do that now is a blast. In terms of atmosphere, it's so relaxed. It's very upbeat. The common goal is the same. That's put on the best possible show for our audience. Backstage, a lot of talents are just kicking around having fun. The beautiful thing about AEW is that it's on you to succeed for the most part. It is you as a talent to take the career into your hands. Of course, everything gets signed off on by the big boss before
of course.
a television show.
Yeah.
But it is on us to succeed. So you got to be able to dial it in. You got to be able to be on point, on your mark with what you're trying to present to your audience. Good, bad, or indifferent, you better be sure as a character.
Yes.
So that's the beautiful challenge, and that's the current, pretty much the big differences right now that I've seen between the two.
Nice. It seems like your transition has been pretty smooth then over the course.
Very smooth. It's very smooth for me. I've been around for a long time, so a lot of people that I work with now, I've either crossed paths with at some point in my career or another. But a lot of talent, guys like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, I've met once working for AEW. I'd never met them anywhere else. So it's weird to be in the same business that long with guys, and there's certain you don't meet until you all get put together in one spot. So again, brand new talent, fantastic talent, and it's exciting.
I love that. Exciting times ahead. And as we continue to talk about AEW, let's talk about the AEW broadcast team. Can you talk about just the great honor of good old JR, of course, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone, arguably two of pro wrestling's most distinct and revered voices, commentating for the company?
So I've had the luxury of having some very cool things. These are some of the things that I am aware of. When I move too fast to pay attention. Yeah. There are a couple things I'm very aware of. So I once had Howard Finkel announce me coming to the ring, which, as a kid watching wrestling, that voice was iconic.
Wow. Yeah.
The thing to be said with guys like Jim Ross, who had called all the biggest matches with the guys that I have loved growing up. Tony Schiavone, same thing. When you have all these, and then you throw in elements like Excalibur, who some people may not be familiar with, but who's very on point with his play-by-play. Yeah. And you got Taz, who brings a whole new rough, rugged kind of ECW style demeanor to his broadcasting talents as well. So you have a mixture of all these guys with different experiences, different views on the industry, what they believe is right, what they might not believe is exactly the way to do things. Right. Together, that makes for a very dynamic and honest commentary team. Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing that we offer to our audience is we're not necessarily going to try to pull the wool over your eyes. Right. We're going to tell you that this is what you're seeing, and whether you like it or not. And, and if they don't like it, they're going to say that too. So that we're going to be as brutal as we possibly can. So hell of a team, just like your production team at the beginning of your package.
Thank you. Look, they will appreciate that. I'm going to have to give them a raise thanks to you, Shawn. But I appreciate that you touching on the legends that are there. And we have some more questions coming in from fans. I'm going to try to put them in as I ask my own questions. But this one's from John Shear. What's it been like navigating wrestling during a pandemic? I'm sure you get asked this question all the time because, of course, we're all going through COVID-19 together, trying to figure out this new normal. So what's it been like for you, Shawn?
It's been kind of easy. So the other thing is I have a wrestling school in Apopka, Florida. So, and I wrestle my students in an empty arena, in an empty warehouse for 10, 15 minutes sometimes at a time. So there are matches that I'm used to putting on with no crowd, with no audience, with no nothing. So I'm very comfortable going out. Once I go out to a ring, that's where I am my best, in between the ropes. Yeah. That's where I feel like
it's home for you.
No one can touch me. Yeah. No matter what, I'm going to make whatever I'm supposed to do work, and it's going to work very well. It's just where I'm at mentally when I go out. Having said that, obviously, when I look back on my career during this time, it's going to be unfortunate that it was during a pandemic that this challenging time came about. I believe in the terms, if we're talking just professional wrestling strictly, the time frame will never be forgotten because we shut the doors to the most valuable part of what we do, and that's our fan base, our audience. There is nothing like a live show. If you've ever been, there is nothing like a live professional wrestling AEW show. Right. So this time frame will never be forgotten, sadly, for reasons that we wish weren't. But it's been seamless for me personally, just because I'm used to just wrestling in front of nobody, in front of 10 people, in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah. You can do it all, which is great. And you kind of touched on this. Antoine had another question for you. What's it like wrestling with no fans? So if you can just dig deeper into that, it sounds like it's not been too bad for you. Like you said, you can kind of do anything. But I mean, I'm sure it makes a difference, right? You can't feed off of that energy. So how do you still bring it?
The live audience is exactly that. To not have that adrenaline rush. The adrenaline is still there, but it's not fully there. So you kind of feel the bumps a little bit more. You kind of feel yourself getting a little tired a little quicker. Sometimes if the audience gives you something to play with, remember, this is live action.
Yeah.
you can kind of, as an artist, you can kind of take that and implement that into the match currently to make it more beneficial or more of a spectacle, however it may go.
Yeah.
That is the art of professional wrestling. When I'm out there performing and kind of making sure things are supposed to go the way they're going,
Right.
I'm a little more cautious of where the cameras are.
Right.
I got to keep my voice down. I got to be aware of my surroundings a little more so. But the audience is what makes all of this work. It's fun. I've had such a wonderful life in this industry. So we miss you guys. That's for sure. Can't wait to have you back. We are slowly, but we can't wait to have you fully back.
Yeah, we're all trying to get back to that. I mean, nothing beats just being in a live environment. And I was actually so happy that you touched on your wrestling school. Of course, you own and operate Flatbacks Wrestling School with your friend and current WWE wrestler, Tyler Breeze. So I was going to ask you, what's that experience been like being a business owner during this time? Have you seen any drop off? I mean, how have you kind of had to shift your business knowledge to, kind of go towards this current COVID-19 pandemic and following safety guidelines and things of that nature?
So we did shut down for a while, just to like you said, followed the guidelines, and we had to just make sure everybody was going to be safe. Some people had to go home. But initially, I was kind of a little hesitant about opening a wrestling school just because I'm still active, very active in the industry, and I believe in hands-on teaching. That's what I was taught. That's the way Tyler was taught as well with Lance Storm.
Right.
But he said, look, if we're going to do this, now's the time to do it. So he was actually more the front runner to really push through. So once we did, it has been I've always taken great pride in helping young talent. I have been asked on numerous occasions to kind of transition maybe into a leadership role in WWE. So I've always kind of taken pride in young talent coming to me and asking for advice and me doing what I can, good, bad, or indifferent, to help them out in terms of their performance. But I get to do that now with our wrestling school in Apopka. So it's wonderful to see kids start to finally get an idea, or if they had something difficult with their footwork or landing properly, when they finally get it and you see the excitement in their face that I got it, like that's stuff I remember because I started, and I don't care who you are, and I say this to all the kids, like whoever your favorite wrestler is, whether it's John Cena, The Undertaker, or whether it's Shawn Michaels, they all started at the same spot you are now.
Yes,
it's possible.
So
I love the process. I love seeing them getting excited about professional wrestling, and I like knowing that the industry is going to continue long after I'm gone. So it's our way of kind of giving back.
I love that, your way of giving back. And just seeing your joy talking about your wrestling school. I have to ask you, Shawn, any plans for expansion at all?
No.
It put you on the spot.
We are set in Florida. We're going to remain in Florida for the time being. There are no plans, or there's never even been a conversation of expanding. So right now,
I might have just broke some hearts.
I apologize, but if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way.
Very true, right? You chase your dreams. And make them happen. So I appreciate you touching on that.
Why not?
Exactly. And going back to another fan question, I was going to touch on her, but might as well touch on her now, from Lauren McKeah. Since your wife is also in the business, what are your thoughts on women in wrestling and their evolution? I love that question.
That is a great question. So my wife, obviously, Peyton Royce, is a fantastic talent, but there have been many fantastic talents. When I was in NXT, the early days of kind of NXT, I was in there with the Charlottes and the Becky Lynches and the Baileys and the Sashas and all those girls, and we would like wrestle together on a daily basis, all of us, guys and girls, for like 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, just tagging in and out, having some fun. And you could start seeing like just light bulbs go off and light bulbs click. And like now these women are the forefront of professional wrestling to this day, which is fantastic. I believe that they have shown what is possible. I think that actually they've just shown a sliver of what is possible. Just seeing the early stages of what women are capable of in this industry. And for a long time, they weren't exactly given that platform. I think by taking it on their own accord, they've shown like, hey, people care. We're going to deliver when we do. You know what I mean? So I think you're going to see more of that. More women taking a stand, more women going, you know what? We got it. We can handle this. And I think the industry needs. So I think you're just getting the tip of the iceberg in terms of what women are going to do in professional wrestling. And big fan. I'm a big fan of my wife. Right, honey? Honey.
Smart man, happy wife, happy life. We love that answer. And just, I mean, you talked about it. I love just seeing the joy with you. I mean, you and Peyton are just a dream couple. Just talk about just, how you two, obviously, you guys obviously met, through wrestling, but just talk about what it's been like for you being married to a wrestler as a wrestler. Like, give us the real details, Shawn. Is it really that easy? You guys make it look so easy and so perfect.
Weird because like way back when it was very hard to date in the wrestling business or at least years and years ago, because you guys were always traveling. You guys were in different before you guys worked for major companies.
Right.
So if you were on the independents, it was tough because you guys were doing different shows and stuff. So then you say, okay, well, I'm going to date someone who has like a regular job and a normal life, but then you're the one gone all the time. How am I going to make it work? I met her here in WWE, in Orlando, and it's on our first date. I said, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the one for you. She's like, really? We'll see.
I like that answer.
She kind of called me on my bluff and all that kind of stuff, but it's quite seamless because we're both fans of professional wrestling.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where I work or where she works. She was very supportive of all the decisions that I made. Leaving WWE and then going with AEW. She just said, I don't care what you do. I don't care where you work, as long as when you come through the door here, you're happy.
I love that.
So now it's beautiful because she'll watch my matches and we'll talk about what I did, and we'll watch her matches and we'll talk about what she did, and we just have our professional conversations and go, all right, cool, let's watch Netflix. And then
love that.
We move on. Like, wrestling is what we do, but it's not all of who we are. So we just believe in time together and having a great time together and supporting each other through and through. So I think if we kind of keep that foundation, it's pretty easy.
I love that. Because I don't know if you know this, but there's been some couples that have been having a rough time with COVID. They're spending more time together, Shawn. So we've seen arguments go up. We've seen divorce rates go up. So just any advice out there to couples out there to just kind of get through this rough COVID-19 pandemic together?
So we have, obviously we've been stuck in a lot too. So we have outlets for ourselves. Like I stream on Twitch with the Sweets with Tyler Breeze and Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
But that's upstairs in our house. That's in a different room. And I'll go play video games and she'll watch her shows. Like there's times we're in the house for 4 or 5 hours at a time together and we don't interact.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to take time to go, you know what? I'm just going to go outside in the pool area and just read for a while.
Right.
Cool. Great. Talk to you soon. Let me know if you want something. Like it's okay to take those times for yourself. And if you're on the receiving, someone says, hey, I'm just going to go upstairs and play some games for a while. Don't take it personally. Take it as like, okay, you need a breather or you just got to be by yourself. Knock yourself out. We're very upfront about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, everything okay today? You know what? I'm just kind of feeling down. Okay. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah. I love that. The me time. It's important. Even if you're in the same house, right? Like sometimes you just need that time to just decompress by yourself. And then you, like you said, you guys still love each other. You still check on each other. So I appreciate you touching on that. And obviously we have a lot more questions coming in from fans. So I'll take them because Shawn, everybody wants to, of course, get to talk to you. So for Miss Gloria Ford, are the rules the same for men and women in the wrestling business?
In what sense? In actual rules? Yes. The in-match rules don't change. If that's what you mean. Because our referees, they set the precedence. They're the law and order in that ring. So all rules are to be abided by, and if you break them, it's gonna cost you. So that's what I love the most. I love breaking it with no one watching. So
I love that. And I have to give you this comment because it's too funny. Shawn, I'm going to ignore my wife for 3 hours and it's on you if she says anything. So Shawn, you might have a wife coming your way.
Well, hold on here, Andy. Hold on here. I didn't say ignore your wife. You have to communicate and let her know, hey, honey, I'm going to go do this for 3 hours.
Right.
If you need me, you have to have communication. You can't just disappear, and if she calls you, you can't not answer. You have to let her know what's going on.
You still need to be there for sure. That was too funny. And just following up on that, again, I'm really enjoying this conversation with you. And of course, I want to stay on wrestling. Let's talk about Cody Rhodes. As it relates to Cody Rhodes, can you talk about just both the wrestling star, the AEW executive, and just the human being and the qualities kind of which have led him to excel thus far to greater heights, particularly since leaving WWE?
Oh, that made you really happy to say all those.
I had to think it out for you. I had to give you a good question.
You got a big enough star. You don't got to. No, the history between me and Cody is pretty well documented. We go back to the very beginning of his wrestling career. in Ohio Valley, actually. So that's where we first met, and that's where we were first kind of put together for reasons that were beneficial to both of us at the time.
Right.
You know, the guy he's one of those people that he exudes this confidence of, I believe in myself. He'll never have to say the words.
I love that.
He just has this thing, the way he carries himself is that he'll put it all on his shoulders. He'll put it on his back, and whether his legs buckle or not, he's going to try. So he just has that thing about him that he's had since I first met him 14 years ago or something along those lines. So that's what carried him through. I think it was maybe 10 years of WWE. That's what carries him through his post WWE career, and that's what carries him to this day. The guy is just going to do it one way or the other. And for anybody that's doubted him along the way, he's going to make sure that while he's doing it, you're watching.
I love that.
He's that guy. And I can, and we haven't hung out all the time. We don't talk every single day.
Right.
I say that about him with conviction because I'm that guy too. So I see it in my opposite. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Completely understand it. I think it would be unreasonable for people to think you guys talk every single day. Like, that's a lot. But you guys obviously still have that closeness. Like you said, you guys go back. So I think sometimes it's those things said, and it's just great hearing you support him and just sing the high praise.
It's always the we just beat the hell out of each other.
Got you.
For some reason. So I was like, do I owe you money or do I? So, you know,
what is it, right?
That's good. We're going to be tied hip to hip for the rest of our careers. I know that.
I absolutely love that. I want to take another question from a fan. Shawn, do you have any dream match with any active wrestlers that you have yet to wrestle?
Oh, that's a good question, John. So I've been, again, very lucky. And a lot of times, you know, and with WWE, I wasn't on television a lot, especially in my last year and probably year and a half. But I did have a lot of matches that were not televised with a lot of guys that I've always wanted to work, like guys like AJ Styles and Randy Orton, and a lot of those guys that I've always admired. And I finally got to get in the ring with them. So sadly, they didn't make TV, but I have them up here. I know they happened.
Yeah.
The same thing with coming to AEW. When Cody and I wrestled at All Out last year, that was the first time we had touched in over 10 years. That first bit opening physicality is the first time we had touched in 10 years.
Wow.
So to finally, you know, get back in the ring with him after all that time was very special. Guys that I haven't wrestled yet. The Young Bucks, I haven't been in the rings with the Young Bucks yet. I think they would be fun to wrestle. Hangman Page is another one I think would be fun to wrestle.
You know, he put you on the spot.
It's tough because we just have such a vast, like, there's different guys for different reasons. Obviously, I'd love to wrestle Chris Jericho because it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to wrestle a guy like MJF because he's young, he's up and coming. Same thing with Jungle Boy, young, up and coming, very athletic, very gifted. So there's different guys for different reasons. So, great questions. But I'm sure all those guys that I mentioned in AEW, over the course of the next year and a half, you're going to see those matches with me.
Well, that is exciting. And Shawn, again, it's just been a true pleasure to get to know you and speak with you. And just, I have another question for you. I mean, when people think and say Shawn Spears, what should they take away? What do you want most for them to take away from that when they say your name and remember about you?
It's that I've never been asked that question, but in a weird way, and I hope this doesn't come across as egotistical, but because there's been a lot of guys who have been world champions. Right. They've spent more than 10 years in the business. You know, they've been world champions, or they have headlined some of the biggest shows ever, or they've made millions and millions of dollars and transitioned into movies and whatnot.
Right.
You know, they're going to be remembered for a lot of those accolades.
Yeah.
My resume doesn't have a lot of those accolades on it. Mm-hmm. So I have questioned myself sometimes, like, okay, well, when this is all done, if I'm going to be remembered, or if anybody's going to talk about me, what are they going to say?
Right.
So that I'm trying to be very conscious of that as I get closer to the end of my career, because I'm much closer, you know, than I am at the beginning.
Right.
I think what I would like people to take away is that, you know, I love professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I never stopped. I believed in me, and I believe that I have a place in this industry. And by the time I'm done with it, I am hoping that I gave more than I took. So
I love that. Mm-hmm.
if anybody would say anything good about me, I hope that I was able to contribute more to the world of professional wrestling and impact people's lives more so than I gained from it. So that's probably the message that I would like to leave behind.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Shawn. And I love that you touched on even like the life after wrestling. I think probably can be sometimes hard to talk about, right? Because you're so used to living this lifestyle. You've been doing it for so long. And of course, we don't want that day to come, Shawn, anytime soon, at least.
Well, with that schedule thing I brought up earlier, it's allowed me to heal up. I got some time, but I also have a wrestling school. So that will keep me busy long after my in-ring television time is done.
I love that. Absolutely. And Shawn, before I let you go, because we know we have to get you back to the wrestling world, just any last messages to the fans and the people out there?
For those of you that have stuck by us from the very rumor of All Elite Wrestling, that helped spread the word, that had the hopes that it would come to fruition, and then stayed with us even when we said, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Thank you, because it's been on your backs that we've been able to build this wonderful company. We're just getting started. I assure you we're just getting started. Stay with us, because we're going to places that, and this is said a lot too, we're going to places that a lot of you guys haven't seen before, but we are. So to the AEW faithful, thank you. I can't stress that enough. Every Wednesday night, every Tuesday.
Yes.
And don't forget Saturday night.
Yes.
Thank you for all the continued support, and it's wonderful to see. So more to come.
Appreciate that so much, Shawn. It's been a true pleasure to have you. I hope you are not a stranger to the show. And of course, we wish you the best with your wrestling career, your wrestling school, and all of your other endeavors. And of course, with your beautiful wife. Thank you so much for joining the show. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for the questions, guys. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Have a great one, Shawn.
Take care.
Bye. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the special live stream edition of Listen In with KNN. You all just heard from All Elite Wrestling star Shawn Spears. We thank him for joining us. We'll be back Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with former Dallas Cowboys great running back Darren McFadden. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check it out. And of course, Shawn also talked about Saturday. Be sure to tune in. It's going to be a great one. We love to see great wrestling matches. Shawn Spears, make sure to follow him at Perfect 10. Just great things coming ahead. And of course, also check out the podcast version of the show. We just dropped a brand new one with Perry Farrell, a 30.5-year veteran with the Detroit Free Press. We paid tribute to the late, great Coach John Thompson. Of course, just all that he did for the DC community, for the basketball world. And of course, Georgetown, as a Georgetown alum, as someone who worked for the athletic department. Of course, so sad to hear that news, but I hope we do him proud. I hope we do him justice. And of course, he is gone, but will never be forgotten. Thank you all always for supporting the show. I could not do it without you. I appreciate your support. Again, Listen In with KNN. If you like something, make sure to hashtag it Listen In with KNN or hashtag LIWKNN on social media. And until Saturday, I will see you all again. Then, of course, Darren McFadden joining the show 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. Thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate the comments still coming in. As always, appreciate you all asking your questions. Bring them Saturday. Darren will answer them. Bring them Saturday to the show. I will see you all then. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.